All right, 8.7 histograms. Learning objective. I can use a data set to create a histogram. So this is kind of the last of its kind of this unit. After this, we're going to switch to probability. So here's kind of the last stats thing that we're going to do, and then we'll switch to probability. So a histogram is a graphical representation of how often a data point occurs. That should look familiar. How often a data point occurs should look like mode, right? This one has to do with mode. So a histogram is a graphical representation of how often a data point occurs. A histogram uses ranges across the x-axis and vertical bars to show the amount of data in each interval. The following are examples. Okay, so they all kind of look like this, and you'll see like right here would be 0 to 2. So this is probably like 0 to 1, or maybe even like half to 1, and then 1 to 1.5, and then 1.5 to 2. These ones are a little bit more clear. You can see this is 0 to 5. This is 6 to 10, 11 to 15. So that means that there are this many people in that group, okay? So of 11 to 15-year-olds, there were 43-ish. Of the 16 to 20-year-olds, there were 52-ish, okay? So that's going to be how a histogram looks. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to create a histogram from the following data that's right here. So we are going to measure the number of pairs owned, number of pairs of shoes people own, and we're going to talk about their age. So what we're going to do is we're going to label our axes. So I'm going to label this one the number of pairs of shoes. Okay. And across the bottom, we're going to say age ranges. So that means we have to put people in the groups that we want to put them in. So you can kind of decide how you want to do the ranges when you're doing these. For this one, I'm going to do for age a range from 0 to 10, a range from 11 to 20, range from 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and 41 to 50. Okay, so I'm going to break it up into 10-year gaps. So that means we're going to have ranges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranges. Okay, so that means I'm going to need 5 kind of sections along the bottom here. So I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit. So I'm going to make from 0 to 10 be to here, 11 to 20 here, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and then 41 to 50 will be there. Okay, so we're just going to split that up into equal groups. Now the number of the pairs of shoes that they own, it looks like our low is 2 and our high is 25, so we need to be able to count to at least 25. So I'm going to say this is 5, 10, 15. Nope, I went too far spread out. Hold on, we're going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. And obviously you could go back in and do smaller tick marks, 1, 2, 3, and 4 if you want to. I'm not going to. I don't think it's that important to have it be perfect. So from 0 to 10, from age 0 to 10, we would be looking at somebody who's 2, somebody who's 7. I think that's everybody. Okay. And I should say we're actually going to do the average number of pairs of shoes. Okay. So to get the average here, we would have to add these together and divide it by 2. Okay. So this is going to be 5. So the average amount of shoes for people 0 to 10 is going to land at 5. So we would create a little box here. Okay. Now the next age range was 11 to 20. So 12 would fall in that. 14 would fall in that. 15 would fall in that. And 19 would fall in that. So we would have to add all these together. So 4, 20, 17, and 22. So I'm going to grab a calculator here. Oops. Okay. So we want to do, let's see, 4, 20, 17, and 22. And then we would divide it by 4 and get 15.75. So we're going to go up just a little bit above 15. We're going to create our box here. Okay. Etc. So this is one way you could do it. And this would be fine, and it would be a histogram, but it's not a very good example of a histogram. And I wanted to show it to you because sometimes people try to create graphics that don't really represent the data that they have. So I wanted to show you how it would work if you had these and somebody told you you had to do a histogram out of these. And then I'm going to back it up. And I'm going to say, let's do this differently. What if, actually I'm going to leave age ranges. No, we're just going to erase the whole thing. So what if instead of doing this, we did, instead of just doing straight data like this, what if we said yes or no to whether or not they had more than 5 pairs? More than 5. Yes or no? Yes, 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 no. Yes, 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 no, yes. Okay. Or what if we didn't really care about how many had more than 5? What if we wanted to know how many had more than 10? No, yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no, no, yes. Okay, so you can do things like this and you can kind of play with that and figure out what exactly is it that you want to know about. Do you care exactly how many they have, or do you just care about a range, or what? What's your goal in trying to use this data? What are you using this data for? What is the data supposed to be telling you? And depending on that may change how you want to do these histograms or box plots or dot plots, okay? So I'm actually going to switch it up. And we're going to say age ranges. Well, that's a little misleading. That looks like it's with that, but it's not. It's over here. Okay, so we're going to do age ranges still. And I'm going to do 0 to 10. Oops. 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and 41 to 50. Okay. And then we're just going to say how many people had more than 10 pairs of shoes. Okay. Put this up here so we can get some more data in here. Okay. So how many people in that age range had more than 10 pairs of shoes? Okay. So this is going to change our scale a little bit here because we just want to know how many in that range have more than 10. So let's go ahead and parse out these sections. So from age ranges 0 to 10, we've got our 2-year-old and our 7-year-old. and neither of them had more than 10. Okay, that's going to be a 0. And then we can look at our 11 to 20-year-olds. So here, 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 and here. And how many of them had more? So that's 3. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's do another one. So this is going to be age ranges 21 to 30. So that would be 26 and 30-year-old. So both of them, so 2. And then we also still have this 31 to 40 category. That's a 1. And then our last one here is our 45-year-old, and that's a 0. So the 45-year-old is going to make this one be a 0 right here too. Okay. So now this kind of changes how high I want to count here. So really we only need to go from 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, and 3. So how many people in that age range have more than 10 pairs of shoes? 0 from 0 to 10 and 41 to 50. But then we still have this 11 to 20 category that needs to go up to 3 now. Okay. You can fill that in too. Okay. And then from 21 to 30, 2. So we go up to 2. We fill that guy in. Okay. And then the last category that actually needs to go anywhere is the 31 to 40. And that was 1. So we'd go up to 1. All right, it's not giving me very straight lines today. Now we'd fill that one in. So this is kind of what a histogram looks like. So it's telling you the frequency. So again, this histogram is looking at how many people in those age ranges have more than 10 pairs of shoes. And so what this is telling us, really, is that people between 11 and 20 are much more likely to have more than 10 pairs of shoes than people 0 to 10, or people 41 to 50. People 21 to 30 are a little bit more likely to have more than 10 pairs of shoes than the average person, and 31 to 40-year-olds are slightly more likely to have more than 10 pairs of shoes. So that's what this is telling us with this histogram. Okay, so, and again, sometimes you will see poorly done histograms that are actually really just graphs that are doing 2 variables that aren't really a yes or a no or a number. So just keep that in mind that that does happen sometimes, but this is really what it should be more like. Okay, so like over here, this is saying temperature. So this is frequency. This is the number of days. How many days was the temperature between 60 and 65? How many days was it between 65 and 70? So histograms are really asking the question about how many. How many of those are happening? How often is that happening? If you have any questions, let me know.